Happy times. What happened to my character? It's a bird, Avon the Raven, and welcome back to Elden Ring Catch Flame Only. I forgot that doing the Pure Blood Night questline changed your eye color. Let's fix that real quick. Shoot. I forget how I'm supposed to alter that. Okay, so I was trying to be funny with this one. Crap, how do I do this? I know there's an option to turn off. There we go. Eye alteration. There we go. Incinedorf is back to normal. So with this character, I had I was feeling goofy. So I tried to make the Pokemon Incineroar as my character for this file. But I ended up making something that looked kind of like Ganondorf in the process. Hence the name Incinedorf. Yeah, I forgot that the Blood Knight questline changed your eye color. Anyway. The only way I'm allowed to deal damage with this file is, of course, with the Catch Flame spell. Now, the issue with that is that there's a lot of fire-resistant enemies in this game, so I'm a little worried about Fire Giant, and I'm not even sure Moog is going to be possible.
Well, I took you for no matter to lay out your own.
Strengthen. I need Smithing Stone 6s. So, I actually was... Fire Giant will be a quest, yeah. Oh, my pronouns today are he, they. Let me just accept that. Yeah, Fire Giant is definitely going to be a quest. And I'll show you why I don't think Moog is actually going to be beatable. Let's just go show this real quick. Keep in mind, this is with a plus 18 seal. I did upgrade the giant seal to plus 17 as well, but that was actually worse than the finger seal. I might actually up the Godslayer's seal, because Golden Order seal will take a lot of investment in order to get to actually be good. But the Fire Giant seal, which is the one that was supposed to give a buff specifically to stuff like Catch Flame, was actually worse than the basic-ass two-finger seal. You believe Catch Flame doesn't get the buff? Well, that would have been nice to know before I went out of my way to grab it. You see the issue here? 89 damage.
Is mine and mine alone.
So I don't think Moog is going to be happening. So no Moog means no DLC. Yeah, Moog was more than prepared to catch these flames. Now, to be fair, my stats also aren't the best. I only have 48 faith right now, and that's with the Two Fingers heirloom. However, at the same time, that's nearing... I think I'm actually past the soft cap. Which means... I legitimately might not be able to deal enough damage to Moog in order to actually beat him.
Champions, welcome.
I'm not going to worry about it today.
Stars have aligned. The festival is nigh. Are you the festival?
And I said I would let this play out.
Before we begin, allow me to paint you the full picture.
Yeah, I promised someone else I'd let the cinematic play out next time I went after Radahn.
General Radahn is cursed ever to wander. Eaten from the inside by Melania's scarlet rot, his wits are long gone. Now he gathers the corpses of former friends and foes alike, gorging on them like a dog. Howling at the sky. But now, we must make merry. O gathering of champions, the revels begin! The celebration of war! The Radahn Festival!
Okay, so it was you, Gio. Well, you're welcome. I will attempt this. But why is my physic not available right now? The cinematic took the whole day to watch. Yeah, it did. However, I'm not going to beat my head against a wall for anything too stressful today. I could probably do it, but it's been an emotional weekend. For anyone unaware, my grandma died on Sunday. So, despite this being a challenge run, I am going to take it as easy as possible. And he starts with that. Hey. dog does have feet. Since it's a challenge run, I try to do as many remembrance bosses as possible with Elden Ring challenge runs, because remembrance bosses are what people are here to see. And he starts with this bullshit. Okay. Oh my. Okay, yeah, his feet are... Oh dear. Yeah, that's weird. But I actually think that might be because he's riding his horse, Leonard. Oh dear. Okay. So I need to be more careful in the second phase. But I think his feet might actually be gone because of Leonard. As strange as that sounds. And my reason for thinking that is because he, in order to ride a horse, you need to do the stirrups. Oh dear. My prediction there is that they just didn't want to animate Radon walking while riding his horse. Oh dear. Actually, I don't see stirrups. We haven't actually planned for the next D&D session. I'll read the rest of that in a bit, but, ah, damn it. Alright, let's actually just run until those meteors go away. Well, okay, we were actually going to try for the next week afterwards. Or, well, which would be this week. Are you? Kidding me? And then this happened, and and then my grandma died, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be up for it. And I know that Piku has something coming up next week. Wait, when did I win? I wasn't paying attention. When did I win? When did that happen? I probably should have been paying attention. But I wasn't sure if I was going to be up for streaming this week, let alone D&D. So I just said, not this one. Next week, Piku has something coming up. I don't know what. So next week isn't going to be a possibility. So I'm hoping that we can get back to D&D the week after. And this will also definitely give Mealy and Bima time to finish their characters. Where were we playing it? We actually... Hang on. This is an incorrect message, but I still had the command active. It's not this Friday. I'm hoping we can schedule for Friday after next. Where is the Grace? There's the Grace. But we have an entire collab channel because it's a bunch of us. I'm honestly excited to be able to play my druid.
Ah, good. What a sick way. The glory of the clan. Falling. I can't fathom how he was a living. The path is not to Nokra. Let's meet where we'll take up us. Let's meet. All right. We'll go into battle. My only purpose is curtains right.
You can't wait to see my druid. Oh. Well, now I'm curious.
Aye, one hit after that, and as such, as luck, if I can, and you know, who could expect? Just you wait. Who could expect it? Just you wait. You'll all be from now on. So, all right, lads, you'll all be from now on. So.
Well, of course, my druid would be eye-catching. I actually came to session 0 with artwork.
All right, lads, you'll all be from now on. So. All be from now
on. But aside from the actual artwork, was there anything that stood out? Where is Seathwater Terminus? There we go. Subtle flex. I had a character concept and I went with it. My backstory. Fair enough, fair enough. Well, the problem with D&D Beyond is that we would have had to pay for it. If we wanted to do, more than 4 players. Thank you. Yeah, no, from what people, or from what we were told, because one of us actually did look into it. Alright. And if you want to have more than 4 players, apparently, the people who looked into it were saying you needed to pay for that. So we went with Realm because at base it allowed for more players than just 4. Let's do that real quick, just so that I don't trigger a fight. Actually. And hang on, there were a few more things I didn't see there. Nope, not the horse regarding the feet. Yeah, I was just saying, oh, come on. I was just saying what I thought was a possibility. What? Can you stop going to the moderator thing? I'm trying to scroll up in chat. Okay, that was it. What kind of druid am I playing? I'm gonna be playing a caster heavy or spell heavy. Because I'm gonna be one of our 2 biggest, well, 2 most supportive. Or I'm gonna be one of our 2 more supportive characters. Let's buy Radon's stuff and see if it's better. That's heavy. Aside from lightning, it's all better. That's actually lighter than... Okay, lighter than Lionel's, but will make me heavy. Or, well, not like make me heavy, but... It's the multiple druids. Yeah, I'm going to be very spellcaster heavy druid when we get around to our D&D session. I'm going to be spending about half my time dealing damage and the other half supporting the rest of the party, but I am actually Circle of the Spore, as I believe I've said. I did not buy Radon's Greaves, so let's... Hey Doppel, how you doing? Thank you for the redeem. Well, I picked Druid for the versatility and, yeah, a Spore does have some necromantic aspects to it, which I think is nice. That is the same amount of poise, so I'm not gonna bother with it. Yeah, I'll be able to reanimate corpses eventually. Thank you for the redeem, Prince Alex. Leave it to an Elden Ring challenge runner to set up D&D like a challenge run? What? What do you mean? What's with the What's with the quotes? Why am I getting quoted? All the numbers and prepping. Well, okay, the numbers and the numbers and prepping is just D&D in general. We're gonna actually sell some stuff here. I'm probably never going to use the clarifying boluses, since I'm not even sure I'll be getting access to DLC. Let's not bother with that. I know I won't be using these. Not a lot of D&D players prep. That is... Actually, I kind of get that. I kind of see that. I know... Mealy has to completely make a character from the ground up. I wonder where he is on that. Where did I leave a beacon? Ah. Well, there's going to be a lot of ways... There's going to be a lot of situations where I am going to have to just roll with the metaphorical punches. But seeing as how myself and I think Bhima are going to be the only ones that are interested in taking on a supporting role for the party, we have to be... I have to put in a little more care in that regard. Speaking of which, I need to check with our DM. Because, he said he'd let me use the mending cantrip to heal Magnifico's character, because Magnifico's playing a construct, and normal healing magic does not work on constructs. However, there's some stuff I'd like to clarify with him on that regard. Wait, what? You have 200 plus characters ready for play? Oh. Yeah, honestly, I think Forever DMs should just band together and make their own party. They can, like, take turns being DM. Mussy, hello! How are you today? And yeah, I'm definitely doing better than yesterday. It does help that I was prepared for my grandma's passing. It really does. It hits a lot harder when you aren't anticipating it. Forever TMs need to make a musical? What? Hold up. Hey, sir. Warforged are really... Well, the issue is, sir, Magnifico's not playing a Warforged. He's playing a door. Like an actual talking door. Yeah, I did put it in my stories on Monday, but that's why I wasn't, or not Monday, Sunday. That's why. Oh no, I like the stream of imagination, but why? I'm curious about that, honestly. Because he has a backstory lined up, he just hasn't shared it yet. I'm curious. Okay, bright side, I am way over leveled for this area, so some of this should be slightly easier. Whoa. Whoa, what? Thank you for the lurk, Alex. But, me trying to read chat has caused my phone to go haywire. 1 second. Your rogue has 2 rapiers, wounding 1d8 plus 1d4 if they fail DC 15. Okay. Nice. Yeah, my druid just might be impossible to kill. That's my character's gimmick. Like, theoretically it's possible, but it would be really hard. Despoina... I kind of based her off Persephone. Like, the Greek goddess Persephone. It'll automatically block it because of Nightbot. If you put spaces, though, and just don't say it's a link, I can copy it down and then look at it later. Hey, typos happen. Typos happen. Alright, let me just copy that down. Fair enough, fair enough. Have an excellent day, Doppel. Right, window. And then here's where I start running into fallen hawks, I believe. I am way over leveled for this place. I just need it for access to Ainsel River. And this is the only possible way I'll be able to get to Deeproot, I think. Because Sewer Moog isn't happening. Sewer Moog has less health than normal Moog. But actually, yeah, normal Moog might legitimately is probably impossible. Because even if I can... Oh dear. I don't know if the HP counts on the wikis account for the fact that the Lord of Blood heals in between his phases. If it does, then the calculations I made the other day are correct. If not, I don't think it'll be possible. Just outright, because he blocks the one item that would make it possible. Alright, I need to get past Mimic Tier. if I wanna get into the rest of this area, which I do, I need to get past Mimic Tier so I can get to Knight's Sacred Ground, which will get me access to Upper Einsel and the Lake of Rot, and more importantly, Moonlight Altar via Estelle. I'm actually pretty certain that I can take on Estelle, considering... Ah, hi! Normally when I come through and do this, I actually have less damage to work with than I do now. So Estelle should be doable. Estelle should actually be pretty fun. And to answer an earlier question that I saw in the chat at one point, but the message seems to have disappeared. At higher levels, the Golden Order seal is better, but that takes a lot of investment, and I have 7 intelligence. Okay, that would actually be hilarious, sir. Maybe pitch that idea to Magnifico and I can be like one of his traveling companions in the past or something. Or some annoyance he's had to deal with. There are fallen hawks around here, just waiting to ambush from the side. Why did that not hit you both? That is unfortunate. Alright. I might actually die against a Mimic Tier. We shall see. Seeing the Mimic Tier boss with my crazy-ass gimmick runs is, interesting. The magic glint blade battle was kind of legendary, not gonna lie. Okay, I did all of this. I don't know how I forgot that I did the room, but I did the room. Huzzah! And I have also cleared out this entire courtyard much easier than I typically do. I should probably go rest, actually. Because I am going to be dealing with Mimic Tier. Which... depending on how this turns out, I may ask if it's alright for me to use Mimic Tier for these runs. If my chat's fine with it, that's one thing. If not, then no. Because there are certain bosses that are just going to be flat out impossible with certain runs. However, Mimic Tier would make that less likely to happen. If it's allowed. However, only is a very unforgiving term. If I end up putting this run on hiatus because I need to grind in order to beat Fire Giant, I'll put up a poll that asks about the validity of Mimic Tier in these runs. Because my gut instinct says no, but my desire to see things die says yes. Huh. Come on, Incinedorf 2.0. I have to say, this is the snappiest Mimic tier fight I've ever seen. Did he just try to punch me? He just tried to punch me! Bastard! My Mimic just tried to punch me! Alright, I believe I've actually finished... Actually, wait, what am I doing? You should be some kind of stone. Yeah. I believe I've actually finished off the flasks. So if there is any golden flask or any golden seeds around here, there's no point in me picking them up. Okay, that's interesting. So normally if you come over here, there is a ghost that will talk about the Mogwin Dynasty Mausoleum. It will be looking off longingly into the distance, wishing to join Lord Mohg. I was not aware that that ghost at any point in the game despawned. That is actually really cool. Normally, I do not find... Oh, wait, no, it's down here. Okay. Right position, wrong level. Yeah, okay. So I was just tripping. No. There are these that I should open up. More runes for Incinedorf. What I really want access to is Einsel River Main, because Einsel River Main will give me Estelle, and from Estelle I can get to Moonlight Altar. I actually do have Ranalla defeated, so that will help with that. Because she's defeated, I can just make a run for it, grab the key, and leave. But this also gets me access to gargoyles, and while I don't think I can actually handle gargoyles, it might be worth... checking to see regardless. Gargoyles are probably not a damage issue, but a skill issue. I'm not gonna lie there. I'm not good at gargoyles. And I'm certainly not going to go out of my way to grind them for an hour right now. Let me out! Leave me be! Wee! Okay. I believe there's only one more after this. And I was already planning on tackling, Halig Tree regardless, but I need to be able, or well, Castle Soul regardless, for access to Halig Tree. Because I kind of need Millicent's quest. But I really need... Or well, I guess I don't actually need Millicent's quest. I'm doing a decent amount of damage to anything that isn't Moog already. But I want that so that I have a shot at beating Moog. And I need to be able to upgrade a Sacred Seal further. And I get the feeling that I'm not going to have enough stuff to upgrade a Sacred Seal all the way to maximum without getting into Yellow Enix Ruins. I could be wrong about that though. I should also upgrade the Godskin, or try to upgrade the Godskin one as much as possible. Okay, yeah, that's not gonna work. Let's go back to the Table of Lost Grace.
You've met Garang, then.
Garunk. I also need to handle Garunk.
Well, I took you for no matter of that.
Oh boy. Strengthen. Okay, smithing stone 2s I need 4 of, so it's 2 more. Actually, this might wind up getting... This may actually wind up outpacing my current one, but I need smithing stone 2s and 3s. Which I might have to go after a bell-bearing hunter for. Purchase. do that. And those just in case. But smithing stone, bell bearing, 2 will get me 3 and 4.
That'll no matter.
Which I need. That ups it by 5, so 182. I don't think Clawmark Seal is going to outpace it. Like Godslayer Seal may outpace eventually. It's actually getting really close, all things considered. Golden Order Seal is the best seal in the game if I can actually get the intelligence to use it properly, which I don't know if I have the patience for. Actually, I should go back here. Before I go back to the ruins, I have absolutely no intentions of facing the boss here, but let's go fix Redmane Castle and put it back to its usual state so that I can go around and collect all the treasure. Because if you haven't gone through and collected all the treasure before this point, you have to come back after beating Radahn. Twice.
At last. Brave champ, celebrate festering. Finally, I'm no longer... I have a whole business. May we meet again? It's time. May we meet again?
Shoot, which one of these two actually gives me an ancient dragon smithing stone? Is it Sellen or Jaren? Is it Sellen or Jaren that gives me the ancient dragon smithing stone? I feel like it might be Jaren. Does anybody in chat know? We're just gonna do that. Ah! So because if I can get an ancient dragon smithing stone right away, that'll actually be pretty big. That's one more potential upgrade I can have before heading into the to Yellow Annex Ruins. Come on. I know Nefeli gives me one later. Now that I've finished her and Kenneth's quests, but I think that might be after Malekith. Somber weapons are actually much easier to up to 10 than regulars. Which is another reason why Golden Order Seal is as good as it is. Ow! Just let me do this. There we go. Takes a bit of running around aimlessly, but provided I've cleared out everything, that is a doable fight. Alright, smithing 6. That's actually what I needed. Or one of the things I needed. What do you mean that did no damage? Why did that do no damage? Why? Shoot. What is and isn't worth it with this character? I know Elemer of the Briar is not worth it. Which is part of why I don't really want to go after any bell-bearing hunters if I can avoid it. If I can't avoid it, oh well, but if I can, I'd prefer to not deal with bell-bearing hunters. They are a particular brand of annoying that is best dealt with at range, which this character cannot do. Hang on, what am I looking at in terms of smithing stones? 2 3s, 12 4s, which is just enough, I think. Not a lot of 5s, 1 6, okay. Several 7s and a couple of 8s. I know some 7s and 8s can be gotten from Moonlight Altar. 6s are the problem. Well, 6 standard and 7 somber are the problem. Because I think those are the ones that are the least prevalent in the game. Just straight up. I may have to take out the full-grown Falling Star Beast for any additional 6s. That is a legitimate concern of mine. And the only 7 I know of, off the top of my head, Somber 7, of course. Is the one in Volcano Manor past the Godskin. What is one of you doing here? Okay. You. this. Yeah. How did I know I was getting jumped? How did I know? That gets me access to the graveyard. There is stuff here, but I can't remember what it is. What is the stuff in the graveyard? Smoldering butterfly. Ow! Can you stop that? Thank you. Do I have green ones? No. Can I make green ones? Also no. Guess we're waiting this one out. Lovely. Lovely indeed. You weren't in combat yet. I don't think... As long as that red main guard, or that red main knight doesn't have anything, I should be fine. Because red main guards can be taken out in 2 hits. Red main knights, on the other hand, are the tanky bastards I've got to worry about. Alright, so you guard the ladder. And that is about it. Okay, is there anything over here, or am I actually done with Redmane? If I'm done with Redmane, I'm just gonna warp. It looks like I'm done with Redmane. Cool.
Well, I took you've no matter to lay out your arm.
Alright, so it is Jaren that gives you the Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone. So we're going to go and do the Selin quest. But we're going to side with Jaren. Normally I side with Selin just because she gives better stuff. But in this case, the Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone is... or not... the Smithing Stone is a lot more important. Let's buy all this, because I don't actually know.
Our art, but what is glintstone? Golden amber, can wild glint should not the glint's a fact.
Yes, yes, yes.
Your appetite, you make me proud.
Forgot I have to actually buy stuff with her for that.
There you are. Shall we commence? Your appetite, you make me proud.
And then Where is Azor? There we go. Because for some reason, this guy doesn't show up on the map. And I really should handle Garunk. I keep forgetting about Garunk! I'd like to know why Azur came to the mountain. I understand why Lusat went to Kaled, but... Can I get a few hits in? Oh my. I should have healed. Instead of spam rolling, I should have healed. That was funny though. I don't think she's gonna be worth killing. If she takes that little amount of... If she takes that little damage... Or... Actually, maybe... She might be worth killing. There we go. Let's do that so I have more wiggle room. Oh dear. If you're gonna chase me, come down here. Okay, I should not be getting staggered out of this. Come on. There we go. Yeah, not worth it. Definitely not worth it. Back to selling. Back to selling.
There, shall we commence the... What's this? Ah, Master Azure was a stew. Make us... We can speak more. If you recall, it was for the tooth. I want glue no matter what. My apprentice teacher, but hear me out. I need your help. Perhaps. Splendid. This you must have. I need your help, Master Luce, and like Master, my apprentice, with this glue.
There we go.
I need him. He's now. After his a place called thinking about it would.
And now we go back to the Church of the Plague. I think there's some smithing stones I can get around here. believe they're on top of that. I believe they're on top of the skull right there. Okay, and it's not that big of a feat just to get up there. I should tackle some of the Erdtree avatars in Caelid. Since they're weak to fire, they shouldn't be that much of an issue. Alright, that's a couple 7 and 8s. There's... Ah! I don't think I'll be able to do anything with her ever, so I'm just going to ignore Grail. We're going to put on, instead of this, a sacrificial twig. Because this may be a small amount of runes, but I don't want to lose it anyway. And I don't feel like tackling... Alright. Actually, no. There's some stuff in here I do actually want to get. Namely, the stuff guarded by that Royal Revenant. And Royal Revenants... while annoying, I know there's a few different illusory walls in this cave. Could have sworn that was one of them. I know that back here is one of them. This may also be way later in the game than I was supposed to tackle this, so that could also be helpful, and might actually make me want to deal with the Crystallians. Where? I think I messed up, actually. Yeah, because I need to go across this. Then drop down here. Now, this boss is actually one I typically don't tackle. I feel like it has a smithing stone bell bearing, but I don't normally tackle it. There we go. And I will never have to come back to this section here, because Lusat will not be, for lack of a better term, cannibalized by Selen. Was I too far away? I think I interrupted his animation by moving. Stars of Ruin I typically don't tackle, or is what I typically use to get rid of the Crystallians in here. think there's smithing stones here, so I want this stuff. Nope. Nope, just kind of useless stuff. Okay. Nice try. We're just gonna leave. Don't know how I managed that, but I did. Aha! Somber 4. So there was a smithing stone, just not in the spot that I thought it was. Good riddance. I'll probably have to run past everything after this. Actually, including this, because I can't guarantee that I have enough damage if I use another blue flask. Jump. Mine. I might actually be using preserving boluses here too. If I do decide that I'm gonna continue tackling the Rotten Trio. It's the Rotten Trio. I know there's a way to get up there, but I forget exactly how. Alright, Rotten Trio. You are the problem. Oh dear. Okay, your Scarlet Rod actually is not that bad. How did I survive that? Okay. There we go. Good riddance. Nope. Okay, I just barely had enough for that, but I managed. Wasn't a bell bearing. I thought it was a bell bearing. Oh well. Where is the... There it is. What? What is going on? Okay, let's go back to Selen. The teleport messed with the Scarlet Rot.
I have the form. My body lies. My body imprisoned. Can you make
Yes.
Who could have? You have my. I am. This is.
Thank you.
Of the bodies, if only.
And now, Weeping Peninsula, I go here. Because I know exactly where Selen's body is. I might actually be able to do a mausoleum. With this character.
These there is something my cross star, someone myself.
And now I just need to wait for you to repeat dialogue.
This is what you hold.
Okay. You are annoying.
Treat it what you hold.
Three Sisters is where I need to go because Celovus's basement is where Selen's new body lies. Over here. What are you? Aha! Chilling Mist. I have to wonder if anybody has run into Idiot Savant when doing, Fia's Champions. Because I imagine they would be very confused as to why the character was just spamming Magic Glintblade over and over again. Why can I not interact? Okay, there's a couple reasons why that might be. The first thing I'm going to check is actually, is Jaren here? The second is going to be, is it because of the whole Nokron situation? Jaren, here we go.
I hardly... You didn't. Well, just put it. She was known as obsessed, the most dangerous. It is a woman, I suspect. I'm sure she'll a sickening thought. I'm sure she'll a sickening.
Okay, and now let's go back here and see if that did anything. Because I need to actually put Selen back in her body. Unless this is intelligence capped. This could be an intelligence requirement, because I know Gold Mask I won't be able to do without investing into intelligence. Gold Mask's quest is locked to me until I upgrade my intelligence enough to use Law of Regression. Hi. So this is either a... I couldn't interact until I got... There we go. Jaren was the trigger.
My apprentice, thank you. And it's better still, finally to expel, my dear. Finally to expel.
Where did he flee, my sweetings? Come out from whence ye hide.
Honestly, I would like to get Ranni some therapy. I would genuinely like to get Ranni some therapy. What? Selin? What are you? There we go. Hey, I got a rune arc for my efforts. And you should give me a smithing stone.
My thanks. I heard from Iji, but I didn't know you for this.
There we go. And it's standard too, which helps. That helps. Alright. Let's see here. I need to pump vigor. As much as I want to put more into my damaging stats. And that's enough. I need to pump vigor. Reason being, late game will 1 or 2 shot me if I have less than 50. I believe 45 is the soft cap for Faith, so that is not going to matter until I upgrade my Sacred Seal more. I might be able to squeeze a bit more damage out of my levels, but the Sacred Seal upgrade is what really is going to matter. Here we go. I don't know if I'll actually use it, but that might be helpful for later. And now we see if I can't tackle the deer. Or big moose. Can I tackle big moose? Okay, that's what the notifications were about. Fair enough, fair enough. Moving on. You are probably going to be a bit of a pain in the ass, actually. I might not be able to do this. Okay, where? Damn it, where did you go? There you are. Please tell me that you respawn dead. Ah, damn it. That's unfortunate. Really? There we go. There we go. I think that's not even... Yeah, that's not even enough for a level. Unfortunate. Oh well. Oh well. Okay, this part might actually be a problem. I'll need... The only other grace in this entire area is down over there. Which might not sound like that big of a problem. But there's some really annoying enemies in between me and it. I believe that's just... Yeah, that should just be butterflies over there. Come on. And this one's not gonna walk, alright. I would have much rather not had that happen, but oh well. Let's think here. I believe this is also just butterflies, yeah. Don't have to jump though, so I may as well collect them. Crap. Let's get a sense of my route here. I'm gonna have to go over there. That golden section there, that is the grace. I jump here and I am dead. Just straight up. I should really collect Mimic Tear, even if I'm not gonna use it. Just because I might allow it for later. There we go. And there we go, the Mimic Tier. I really wish we did get the Mimic Tier quest line that was cut. That could have been so cool. Perish. And then up here. I believe the Nox Flowing Hammer is up here. If I kill that giant ball, where is the giant ball? Ah. I can get a tier, but I don't think that's worth it. I genuinely think my best bet is just going to be to run for the Grace. This room's honestly what I was worried about when I was talking about my routing. Oh! Though apparently you can sneak by. That is good to know. That's really good to know, actually. I'm a little worried about dying here, so can I... No. Unfortunate. That's not good. There we go. Some of these do transform, some of them don't. Which means I have to essentially rush them if I want a shot at killing them quickly. That one turns into a troll. That much I remember. I need to be very quick if I want to stand a shot at killing you. Damn it. Okay. Turns out that's not going to happen, so we're just going to go over here, collect this, and then use that lovely teleporter at the base of here. To get the fuck out. It made that thing so bad. Okay. Alright, that's 3,000. Oh, sorry, 5,000. Why did I say 3,000? And then I'm actually gonna head to the Palace Approach to get some runes this way. At this point, I really should go... Yeah, that's enough. Before I forget again, there is actually something over here I should do. I talked about it a while ago, but there is a cave near here that gives, upon completion, a talisman that buffs the amount of runes you receive per encounter. It's annoying to get to, though, so I put it off, but at this point, considering I am thinking of grinding... Where are you? I think it might be further this way. It's along the cliffs somewhere around here. I know I had to go past the graveyard. Here we are. Oh, crap. Well, good thing I leveled before losing those runes. Because I'm not going back for them. I'm gonna try and get to the cave. Runes be damned. Stake of Marika. What? Okay. That answers that question. I forgot there was a stake of Marika there. I should actually also go do... Crap, there's a lot of stuff I should really do. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I tried to take a shortcut. That didn't exist. That's fair. But I should also climb that tower. I have a bunch. Because I am going to go get this talisman because since grinding is a legitimate thing that I may have to do, I really want to cut down on how much I have to do. So the talisman to buff the amount of runes I receive will be huge. I'm also reaching the point where Radahn's Great Rune is actually better off than Godric's. So I should go climb to the top of that tower. In addition to all of that, I also need to take out both boss godskins and see if I can, and see if gargoyles is a reasonable goal. Okay, these geysers are why I don't like this cave. But if I need runes, I can't afford to skip this cave. Well, I can't afford to put this cave off for much longer. Okay. Hello. Goodbye. Oh dear, I just almost walked straight into the Miranda flowers. I think this might be a duo. And I also know that it is... Yeah, clean rot night. Okay. Where's the other one? Okay, I was over-leveled for this. Either way, I wanted Gold Scarab, so... I'm just glad I don't have to do that run back a second time. Would have been annoying. Okay, and now... Let's go do the tower. It's the descent into the bowels of the tower that I'm concerned about. Let's be real here. Climbing down this tower is a lot trickier than getting up it. Couldn't remember if that was somber or standard. Once I get up here, and at the very least unlock the grace at the bottom floors, because I'm not sure if I can take out this specific godskin yet, I'll head into... Okay, let's do that. Go complete Ranni's stuff. I would have actually liked to loot that guy, but whatever. You know, I forget how you're actually supposed to navigate around this, because I always just use torrent. I'm not gonna lie. I just used the double jump on the horse to skip the gaps and the puzzles. Because, as far as I'm aware, there isn't anything important on this tower anyway. So... Okay, I keep forgetting that that's not the door. Considering how early I typically tackle Estelle, which Estelle's down here, I feel like I'm actually fine to go after him with Catch Flame, because I think he's more resistant to magic than he is fire. There's some water in the room, which will complicate matters, but at the same time, I actually do quite a bit. For the speed at which I cast my spells, I do quite a bit of damage. Okay. Let's swap my Great Rune. And head into the bowels. I should really check to see if I can do... the Godskin Noble in the manor. I don't know what that thing's fire resistance is. And Godskin Duo is going to be the next major hurdle after Fire Giant. Yeah, there's no point in rolling here, so we're just gonna do this. There's a Black Flame Monk up ahead, but I feel like I can kind of sneak around him just long enough to get to this ladder to reduce at least some of the platforming in this section, should I fall. I really don't want to fall. Either in battle or off a ledge. But that is a thing I may have to deal with. Did these two fall off a ledge after me and die? I think those two fell off a ledge after me and died. Okay. We're gonna do that. Ow. Nice try. Nice try. Ha! On this day, the orange flame wins. Okay, you actually might take me down where I want to go, roughly. I normally don't mess with this section here. Cool. And that actually is really helpful, because I can rest here. Check to see if I have the damage to deal with this Godskin Apostle. And then leave. And come back when I'm actually ready. If I'm not already. Ha. Wee. Okay, you. Okay, you might be a problem. This is honestly a much better indicator for late game bosses, or for the late game Godskin Duo, than the earlier Apostle would have been. Okay, so this might be doable. I'm gonna have to give it a couple more attempts, because I have 5 full mana bars. I have 5 mana bars there. So... And that's definitely a lot more damage than I was doing against Moog. I think I need more health, but damage-wise I should actually be fine. At least for this apostle. I should really go check that noble. There we go. Because the first... Malekith is obviously going to be an issue, but... I'm really worried about the Godskin duo, because while they were very, very easy for me on Magic Glintblade only, considering I already knew it was possible to... My cat just tripped going up her cat tower. I love her. Okay. Oh dear. Nice try. Nice try. Nice try. What? Not good. There we go. Okay. Okay. I think that's just enough. Oh yeah, that's just enough for a level. I'm a little worried about having the damage for the Godskins. But I need to worry about my vigor first. That unlocks pretty much the rest of Volcano Manor, actually. With the exception of Rykard, I can full clear this place. Which is kind of huge, actually. Because, while I know Rykard's not going to be possible, I'm fairly certain he's outright immune to fire damage. Having access to all of Volcano Manor's loot means that there's a lot of runes, at least one Somber 7, and some other materials just up for grabs. Actually, possibly even a seedbed curse. I think there might be a seedbed curse here. Somewhere. Which is quite possibly the only variant of the ending Incinedorf will be able to get. Aside from Ranni's ending, but I don't like the idea of doing Ranni's ending for this guy, or for this challenge run specifically. This might just be... Oh boy. Get back here. You die. I'd like to know why you had... I would like to know why you were taking a nap next to a corpse. That would be a really nice thing to know. Here. Right, the lizards. The stupid lizards that are actually immune to fire damage. Because I tried. Incinedorf could not scratch them. Or char them? Lightly sear. Does not open. I'm just gonna run past everything. Or, hold on. No, because that's where I just came from. Anything in the lava is guaranteed to be immune to my fire damage. You can't hit me, I'm opening a door. Alright, and we're gonna do this. because de-aggro is actually really helpful. Unfortunately, that doesn't work in Dark Souls 2, but that is a very, very helpful trick in literally every other FromSoft game that is not Sekiro. Because I have not tried it in Sekiro, so I don't know if that's doable. Uh-oh. Well. That happened. I'm trying to remember where all the seedbed curses are. Because I got 2. One from... Oh, I have 3. Where did the third one come from? Like, actually, where is the third one from? That's not the right door. That is a very incorrect door. What am I looking for? Here we are. In Senadorf. But I can't remember if it's 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6 seedbed curses that are required for Dung Eater. Either way, I'm going to collect what I can. But this is a, I believe one of them is in Volcano Manor. I could be wrong about that. I could be very, very, very wrong about that. But if I'm not... Okay, there we go. Then I need to check every available corner. For something of value. And I believe there's actually 2 in the Halig tree. I could be wrong. But again, if I'm not... Oh boy. Let's just run for now. Because I need to open up a door. Patches is probably so confused. There we go. And that should be a seedbed curse. Okay. Somber 7. Is there anything else of note up here? Doesn't look it. Okay. I don't mind leaving my runes here. Is it one or... is it two in the Halic tree? Where did I get that third one is the question here. Like... I remember getting one from Lanedale... and a second from, Boggart. Apologies to Boggart. But I don't remember where I got the third one. It might have been Lanedale where there was two and only one in the Halic tree. But I doubt it.
A curse. Along with it.
Yep.
Curse.
Is that all of them that... Did I use all of the ones in my inventory? Okay, so I need another one. So it's 5 out of 6 that's required. Apologies for the ping pong, but I need to check how much damage I do against the gargoyles. As well as collect everything that the gargoyles are guarding. Or, well, not the gargoyles, but the Crucible Knights. That one's just positioning. That one is pretty easy to kill as long as you manage to get off a nice burst of damage early. The other one is where the problems arise. Because first things first, you have to act... I don't remember if this one works the same way. I'm gonna sneak over and grab this, because I don't remember what it is, but I know it's a smithing stone. 5, okay. Come on. Or this one can just completely refuse to go into its second phase, and I can kill it relatively easily. That works too. I suppose that works too. I have yet to talk to Fia, actually. I should probably go do that. Huh? What made me decide to do Catch Flame? Curiosity. And I'm not even joking about that. So, I had an idea a while back to do a spell called Magic Glint Blade. Do a run of only that, because it has, in pretty much all of my runs, with the exception of the one I did that did not use magic, that was a staple. I would always come back to Magic Glint Blade, and I wanted to see if it was actually possible to beat the entire game that way. And it actually is. The only boss I haven't beaten with that spell is Promised Consort Radahn. And even then, I've gotten so close that I know it's doable. Every single Remembrance boss in the game can be taken out with Magic Glint Blade if you have the patience for it. So I wanted to see how the other starter spells in this game held up, and Catch Flame was the only other starter spell that... or was the only starter spell that did not use intelligence. Does that make sense? It actually really is. There's certain sections where Catch Flame is definitely better against trash mobs than, oh dear, Magic Glint Blade was. Magic Glint Blade you had to kind of plan around. But by that same token, Magic Glint Blade is a lot better against bosses than Catch Flame is. Alright. No guarantees that I'll actually bash my head against this particular wall. But let's see how much I do against the gargoyles. What? Okay, that should not have hit me. This does look doable, so I'll give it one more attempt. If it looks doable now, then it'll definitely look doable when I have additional damage to work with. Really? Get over here. Oh shoot. I'd like to get one of you down. Because... Really? Didn't have a choice but to heal there. Okay. Oh my. Damn it! Okay, definitely doable with the damage. But I'm not gonna beat my head against a wall for the remainder of my time here. Okay, so this is doable, and I will come back to it eventually. It's just annoying because it's Valiant Gargoyles, and of course it's annoying. Alright, back to Ranni. We actually made a lot of progress. Like, it was all side stuff, but... still, a lot of progress. I'll probably end off today checking... Oh! What's with the hands covering the eyes, Alex?
Ah, not blood. Even in my... It is in my thanks. Soon must... Ah. A strange gift. I am certain. I must thank you, May. It was but...
Okay. I forgot to deactivate that pole. I apologize. I forgot to mess with Nightbot over the weekend. I should... There's 2 preceptors here. I should really take them out. I'll probably end off today with checking out how much damage it is I do against Fire Giant. Because that is the big hurdle. Tried to sneak it in without noticing it, without my noticing it, it didn't work. Really? It might not be possible to beat the Preceptor Miriam without, ranged damage. Because Preceptor Miriam is weird. Yeah. I can try from this side, but as soon as you get close, this one teleports. And I don't know if it's just because of these guys. Like, it could legitimately be once you've killed all of the ones on the upper floors, she can't teleport anymore, but then that's a sustainability issue. The fact that Incinedorf managed to stay up is kind of crazy. I could also have to use the rafters if I want to do melee damage against Miriam. Because she may not see... There are a great many Souls enemies that cannot look up. Too skillful, what? Okay, so that is how you're supposed to do that. I never actually tried coming back down off of the rafters. That's good to know. What just died? Okay then. With this, I'll be able to... Or, well, after this, I'll be able to turn the... I can already turn it upside down, but I can turn it upside down without worrying about missing anything. Alright. Study hall entrance. Let's flip the tower. And then head back up. Or down? Something to that effect. I think I just run through this one, because unlike... Or... I get a mask from this preceptor. But unlike... Okay, and it's Miriam again, so she is either a puppet, which is entirely possible, or is just very determined to take us down, or to take me down. You think Miriam likes me? I am inclined to think the opposite, but alright. Hi. Really? You. There we go. I could have sworn that you dropped a mask. Clearly it's primary school flirting. I'd be more inclined to think that of Patches, honestly, and Patches reads Arrow Ace to me. With the exception of maybe Grey Rat in Dark Souls 3, but that is very up for debate, as far as I'm concerned. I actually don't know about that one. He's kind of just that random guy in Demon's Souls and Dark Souls 1 that you run into. He's not even in Dark Souls 2 or Sekiro. In Bloodborne, he's also just a random guy. Dark Souls 3 is where it gets interesting. Because that game gave him 2 character arcs. Like, if you're just counting base game Dark Souls 3 patches, then it's something along the lines of acquaintance. But if you're counting Ringed City patches in that, then it goes from being just acquaintanceship to full-on comrade in arms. At that point, he's pain in the ass older brother. And then in this game, he's kind of towing the line between pain in the ass older brother and acquaintance. And at that point, it really depends on how much Volcano Manor you do. Which part did you never think about? The fact that Patches gets 2 character arcs in Dark Souls 3, or what? Alright, this gets me a couple things. I can go back to Three Sisters and enter Einzel. The 2 character arcs because you never played Dark Souls 3. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, patches... If we're assuming that they're all the same character, that every variation of patches is the same character, then his favorite protagonist that he's had to deal with is definitely the Ashen one from Dark Souls 3. Because, again, he just sort of runs into the player in Demon's Souls, Dark Souls 1, and Bloodborne. And in Elden Ring, well, he does have some deeper emotional connection to the player character, provided they've done the Volcano Manor stuff. He will also completely dip out of the Radahn fight. He's in a painting in Sekiro? I did not notice that. Okay, if you're not trolling and Patches actually is in a painting in Sekiro, I did not notice that. Where was I going with this? Well, yeah, even with his friendship, we'll say, with the player in Elden Ring, he will still leave when summoned for the one boss fight he can be summoned for. Dark Souls 3 Patches is the best Patches in the series. Hands down, full stop. That Patches had 2 whole character arcs. The first one intersected with 2 other NPCs. He was involved in a Knight of Katarina's questline by way of having stolen his clothes, and Grey Rat's questline by way of being the only character in there besides the player to actually care for Grey Rat as a person. I'm only counting it as a Patches if it goes by the name Patches. Keeps things simple.
Or is it fight? I hadn't expected now. Eliminate the name of I will not. Before eliminate the name of I will not.
But Patches can actually, if you let him keep the Knight of Katarina's armor, save Grey Rat once. He tries to save Grey Rat a second time, but is outright unable to. No? I think I've seen Espedy. I think I have seen the Patches cosplay. Oh my. I'll check chat in a second. Yeah, I think I've seen that. I don't pay attention to the names of stuff I see a lot of the time. I tend to just enjoy the content. Not gonna lie, I'm a pretty irresponsible viewer in that regard. But in Dark Souls 3... Oh dear. That patches will have unique dialogue and can be used to help save a character more reliably than the Knight of Katarina, because I've fucked up the Knight of Katarina portion of Greyrat's quest so many times. Patches is definitely a lot more reliable in that regard. But in the Ringed City is where it really gets interesting. Because you don't even actually know it's Patches at first, unless you happened to recognize a voice. But you go through, you help him out, and if you've progressed his quest and helped him out, he'll actually be summonable for one of the final bosses of the DLC. Not the actual final boss, but the one leading up to it. Which I think is a pretty damn good end to his story in the Dark Souls universe, honestly. Yeah, Patches is reliable. Patches is actually very reliable in Dark Souls 3. If you... Obviously, you have to have him betray you a couple times to get him into your home base. But once you do that, he will, if you and you let him... he will inquire as to where the NPC he can save goes at a certain point. And if you... Like, it requires a bit of reloading so that the character's actually gone, because FromSoft and its... FromSoft and convoluted character quests, what else is new? But if you tell him where that NPC went, he'll go out of his way... Or if you let him keep the Katarina armor, he will go out of his way to save that NPC. I believe he still disappears to try and go save that NPC if you don't let him have the Katarina armor. He just... Oh dear. Fails if you don't let him keep the armor. Why am I being quoted? Is it really Patches if he doesn't drop you down a hole at some point? But he's more reliable than the Katarina Knight, because if you give the Katarina Knight back his armor before Patches saves that NPC, then you have to deliberately ignore part of his quest in order for that NPC to be able to reach the end of his own quest, because he'll just die prematurely. Oh no. Fair enough, fair enough. PQ does like to make... I had someone come in here and make a clip of my quotes once. Patches will also try to save that NPC the second time you tell him where he went, but will fail. He will, however, get a... oh dear. Additional divine blessing in his shop, which is a huge thing. Yesn't would be my response to that. I've clipped on phones before and it works. Although that could just be because I'm more used to phone queues than computer queues. That is not where I'm going. Okay. Talk to Ranni.
Let us. I was once of the demi. Each of us, which is when I would not. I stole. I would not. The two thing and the bale.
Okay, I need... that should do. The only way Moog is going to be doable is with a lot of grinding and getting stronger. Even if I put all of my flasks into magic, there is no guarantee I'd have enough damage to actually deal with him. Real quick, let's go see how much damage I actually do against Fire Giant. Like, legitimately, the only way Moog is going to be possible is if I do a lot of grinding and get a lot more damage, and even then, considering the fact that he heals on his second phase, that might legitimately be impossible. Oh dear. Dude, I'm just trying to see how much damage I can do against you. That's not good. Closing in on Fire Giant is annoying. I usually have a ranged option for this just because it's annoying. Fair enough, fair enough. Fire Giant has a ridiculous amount of HP. So I'm trying to gauge how much I'm going to need in order to deal with it. Okay, that is... oh my. Whether or not this is doable is going... because I know Fire Giant actually loses a decent chunk of health on... unlike Moog, Fire Giant actually loses health on a phase transition. Ow. And of course, the wonky hitboxes are making this difficult to gauge. Oh my. I think this is doable. I might have to reallocate flasks, but I think this is doable. Uh-oh. I was hitting... Oh dear. Honestly, my goal right now is just getting... him down. Oh, that's the wrong button. To see how much I'm gonna have to mess with phase 2. Oh dear. Where is your foot? I also have to do this without lock-on because lock-on is weird with the spell. Get back here! Damn it. Alright, I definitely want more... I definitely want to be able to do more damage, just so that I don't have to be quite so careful. I also want to be able to take more so that I can... Shoot, I need to be able to do and take more so I can be less careful. Because every single hit I miss brings it closer and closer to being undoable. 1 second. Thank you, Alex. It's definitely doable. Even right now, if I reallocated flasks, I could do it. However, I wouldn't be able to do it comfortably. So since I can actually also go do stuff, because I have Noxtella and Consecrated Snowfield. Even without thinking about Mogan DLC, I have those two very major areas. And if I can get Millicent's quest done, it doesn't matter if... I also have Gargoyles. Gargoyles are also doable, I just want a few more levels for health. Okay. I think my next order of business is actually going to be going back to Noxtella. Because I'll be able... I'm fairly confident that I can take out Estelle. I don't think Estelle is going to be a problem. And then from Ainsel and Moonlight Altar, because Moonlight Altar will actually get me a bunch of stuff. In between, I'll also look up bell bearings, because I do want to see if Godslayer's seal will be a better alternative to the finger seal, because this, I think, has a higher base for faith scaling. So I want to upgrade it to +7, we'll see, because I don't want to waste all of my smithing stone 6s. But Godslayers might actually outpace Finger Seal. Golden Order Seal will outpace everything if I can up my intelligence, but that might be more than I'm willing to put. I'm fairly certain that Golden Order is the best one in the game. What do you mean by Erdtree Seal? Did I miss a whole ass seal? Hang on, did I actually miss a seal? Because I could have sworn Golden Order Seal was the best one in the game if you went all the way to max level. Like, if you maxed out your intelligence and your faith. Volcano Manor Square. Hang on, let's check here. Pure Faith. If it's somber, is it somber? Is the question here. If it's in the square, then that means it's probably here. Yeah, I'm already running the risk of going to have to grind. Okay, I completely forgot about this one. Let's go back to the Table of Lost Grace. It is somber. Okay, that changes some things. Hey, need to check something. Strengthen. Okay, I have 2 Somber 7s. And... okay, this is better. Thank you for that. That actually does change some things. Although, granted, this is... I'll still be collecting standard, because I think, technically speaking, standard weapons go up higher than Somber does. But that's a nice damage boost for now. I legit thought you meant Golden Order Seal, and I'm like, yeah, Golden Order Seal is better, but I'd have to invest in Faith. Or, sorry, not faith, in intelligence. Okay, so let's go back to Fire Giant, and... actually, let's see if we hit triple digits on Moog first, just for giggles. Just for shits and giggles, let's see. I forgot about something, so let's... I really should level instead of sacrificing all of these runes. Well, I am a lore nerd, and the Erdtree was created as part of the Golden Order. Like, canonically speaking, the Urge Tree was created from the Elden Beast, which was sent by the Greater Will, which is part of the Golden Order. Or, well, the Divine being behind the Golden Order. In a lot of cases, saying Golden Order and House of the Urge Tree are interchangeable. This just happens to be the one scenario in which that wasn't the case. You. I need to check how much damage do I do to you now. Get back here. Oh, hey! That is still nowhere near enough to actually kill him, but hey, we hit triple digits. Okay, so that's like a 20% damage increase. Nope, we don't do that. But oh dear. I did the math at one point, and with the amount of health listed on the wiki, I would need to be able to do roughly 200 damage in order to kill him without I forget what factors I put into that combination, but I would need to do... We're gonna shoot for 200 being what I need to be able to do to Moog in order to actually kill him. Because I can't remember if I factored every single flask I have into that calculation, or just what I'm comfortable using. Uh, 80 faith is mandatory then? Okay. And and that is also assuming that Moog... Okay, that's not that big of an increase, actually. Checked it. Moog has an 80% resistance to fire, while Fire Giant only has 50. Fire Giant just has much more health. And again, it wasn't a terribly huge increase. It was only about 20%. Like, again, that was according to the wikis, so the wikis could have been lying to me, that's been known to happen. But despite Fire Giant having technically more health than Moog does, oh dear. Or, well, more listed health. I legitimately don't know if the health amount listed on the wiki for Moog includes the heal. If it doesn't include the heal, Moog's if that life total on the wiki does not include the heal for his HP count, because remember, he heals in between his 2 stages, then Moog is impossible. Like, there's nothing I can do at that point. Like, maybe if I grind to max level with, Golden Order Seal. You don't think they would include the heal? Yeah, I don't either, and the heal is something I forgot about. Okay, so let's see. I was doing 102 damage to Moog. Let's break out the calculator again. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay. So with my current flask loadout, I can do a maximum of 8,670 points of damage. If I put all 14 of my flasks into that. Okay, actually, if I put all of my flasks into that, I get 26,000 points of damage. However, that would require no hitting Moog. At that point, it is a skill issue. But, no hitting Moog. Okay, so what if I... Okay, so I would need at least 10 flasks in magic to kill Moog if they don't... If it's just what was on the wiki for his health. At my current level, it might be possible with all of my flasks, because I don't think they included the heal either in the wiki health count. But that's a ridiculous amount of health, and again, would require no hitting Moog. So technically doable, but I don't have the skill for that, and I don't want to grind that, especially not right now. Anyway, I have to make lunch, so I'm gonna call it here. If you're interested in anything... Did I put the blood tier... I have the blood tier for the Nihil counter. However, there's no point in putting it on if I'm not going to be going after Moog. I'll put that on once or if I'm fairly certain that I can actually beat him. I literally just ran up there for a DPS test. And again, it's technically possible if I put all of my... Or actually, no, it depends on how much health Moog gets back on his heal. For now, we're going to operate on the assumption that Moog is impossible. If I wind up killing him at some point, cool. If not... Oh well. If I do wind up killing Moog at some point, I will do the DLC. If not, oh well. Whenever I do challenge runs, DLCs are optional anyway. And just so that I don't put myself through undue stress there. I try to go for them. But if I can't, it's not like it breaks the rules of the run. Or makes the run impossible. Anyway, I do have to get going here, so I'm gonna call it there. If you're interested in anything I've done up until this point, you can check out my YouTube channel. I try to upload stuff same day, and I group my runs by playlist, so they're easier to find. If you're interested in seeing my announcements, I post them to my stories here on Twitch, to YouTube, and currently also to Instagram. If you're interested in seeing my clips in an easier fashion, I post them to YouTube, currently to TikTok, and currently to Instagram. The links to all of that are in the chat now, though I cannot blame you if you don't want to be on TikTok or Instagram. I just have them for advertising purposes. If you've made it this far and are curious to see where I go from here, why not drop a follow? It takes but one button press, and you can always change your mind if you decide my content isn't for you. I'm going to be looking some stuff up later today, or maybe tomorrow, sometime soon. Because I want to see if... I really want to know if the standard seals I have would actually benefit, or would actually be better than than the Erd Tree seal. I know technically Golden Order is the best in the game, but I really don't want to have to resort to that because that would take a ton of intelligence grinding. And I've already got enough I need to worry about with this character because I need Vigor Mind and a lot of endurance because I need to be able to move around with the heavier armor. Plus, I need the faith for the damage. So I really don't want to have to also grind intelligence on top of that. But I'll be going through and killing Estelle next time, definitely. And probably after that, I'll be checking out Bell Bearings. And then after Bell Bearings, Castle Soul, so I can get into Consecrated Snowfield. Hopefully, with all of that done, I'll have the means to tackle fire giants. If not, then I will have to put this run on hiatus for a bit and come up with another challenge run in the meantime. Just so that I can actually beat fire giant on stream here. I'm going to operate on the assumption that Moog is impossible for now, just because there's a lot of maybes, what ifs, and potentially having to no-hit one of the toughest bosses in the game to no-hit, which I have no interest in doing. If someone proves me wrong or I prove myself wrong, that's cool. And if I end up proving myself wrong, I will go do the DLC. But if not, I did some DPS testing and ran the numbers, and like this game, I don't like no-hit challenges. Just straight up, I don't like them. They're very technical, and they wind up being very grindy as opposed to fun. I prefer challenges that are goofy, which is why I do gimmick runs. If I wind up with enough damage, I might try to no-hit Moog a few times. But I do not have the patience for that, honestly. I don't have the patience or the passion. If I have the passion, then I can make up the patience. And if I have the patience, then I can make up the passion. Or, well, no, I can't, actually. Yeah, I'll be trying Moog periodically just to see if I can manage it. But I'm not going to spend hours grinding Moog when odds are looking at the numbers, I'm going to have to no-hit him. That's not fun for me, and if it's not fun for me, it's not going to be fun for you guys. If I wind up having to do grinding, I'm going to do that off-stream, which means this run would be going on hiatus, and I'd have to line up another challenge run. Wednesday, it'll be back to Lords of the Fallen, or well, tomorrow it'll be back to Lords of the Fallen with Karato. We'll be going into the castle again. And going from there. And then Thursday and Friday, I'll actually be starting my first playthrough of Bayonetta. I believe it's the first game that I got recently. I got it for $6. But either way, I've been wanting to play a Bayonetta game for a while, so I'm very excited for that. And obviously next week I'll be back to this. The only thing you grind is your head on the wall in Final Fantasy VII. Oof! Try not to grind your head on the wall, sir. One moment. You know what? It's been a while since I've raided Jack. I do not know why Jack has changed his username, but let's go say hi to him. He's playing Dark Souls 2 at the moment. That said, happy time zones, everyone. And I hope you all have an excellent day.